Tenaya, I think this is an excellent opportunity for you to explain the difference between donation after cardiac death, which is DCD donation, and donation after brain death. Can you do that for us?
I can. One of the things that I really want to highlight with this New York Times article is that the patient was a DCD donor. It was not a brain dead donor. There's two ways to become a donor. They both start with a severe head trauma. The first is I'm going to start on the brain death side, because that's what used to be with organ donation, really only brain dead donors. So that's the slide on the blue side. What would happen is somebody had a severe head trauma, everything was done to save their life. There'd be brain death testing done in the hospital and a discussion happening with the physician and the family. The physician would declare brain death. It's at that point that the Organ Procurement Organization comes in. The OPO talks to the family, determines authorization, so either goes on the registry and then discusses it with the family or gains consent from the next of kin. Then there's a medical evaluation to determine if the person is eligible to be a donor and if organs can be recovered and transplanted. And then the patient goes to the operating room and organ recovery occurs. If you look on the green side, you'll see that a lot of these things are in a different order when it comes to donation after cardiac death. There is no declaration of death because there's a severe head trauma. The physician and the family have a discussion about withdrawing care, meaning that this patient is not going to recover and come back to themselves, and the family makes the decision to withdraw care. Then the Organ Procurement Organization comes in and discusses family discussion and authorization, does the medical evaluation. The patient is transferred to the OR and ventilator support is withdrawn. In the OR, two things can happen. One, the heart can stop and death is declared, and then organ recovery occurs, or the heart cannot stop, death is not declared, and the patient is transferred back to their room, and they do not become an organ donor. So you can see that death is declared in two very different places when it comes to brain death and DCD. One, death is declared in the operating room, and one, death is declared prior to the operating room, almost as, the second step there. So I think the misunderstanding of the process of donation after cardiac death is really what's leading and driving a lot of this misunderstanding about what occurred in Kentucky. And I really believe that the New York Times has done us all a disservice by manipulating what happened there and not describing for people what happens in donation after cardiac death.
Very good. Thank you for bringing clarity to a very, confusing, topic. If you're not a part of the organ donation and transplantation community, it could be, a little complicated, but go ahead.
One other thing there is that there has been record growth in donation and transplantation. We have actually seen a dramatic decrease in the number of deaths on the waiting list. We have seen a dramatic increase in the number of donors available. We've even seen a dramatic increase in the number of organs not utilized. There were 9,000 kidneys not utilized last year. Okay, that's because there are a rapid expansion of the number of potential donors because of donation after cardiac death. These tend to be older donors and sicker donors, and so the organs are a bit different than the donation after brain death. But the reason we are seeing dramatic decreases in the number of people dying on the wait list is because of the increase in donation after cardiac death. And because of misrepresentation of DCD in the New York Times and by others, this could put DCD at risk, which is going to put patients waiting at risk.
Yeah, and that's what we don't want, right? Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on that subject.